All right, so just as much as I love talking about Power 5 schools, I love talking about the G5 too, the group of five. And I've just been salivating for my opportunity to do so. And the Dukes of James Madison have finally provided me with that opportunity. It seems like nobody's talking about the James Madison Dukes. They're undefeated right now, they're 6 and 0. So if nobody's going to talk about James Madison, then damn it, I'm going to. And I am proud and honored to be their platform, giving them exposure for what they've done this year and last year as well as they've started integrating into the FBS because it has been truly phenomenal. They have made their mark. James Madison has made a statement since they began their transition into the FBS from the FCS last year. They were 8-3 in their first year in the FBS. That is phenomenal. Technically, they were on top of the Sun Belt East, which would have minted them a spot in the Sun Belt Championship in December. But because they were not eligible to make that game yet, which I'll explain why that is later in this video, they were not able to play in that Sun Belt Championship. And this year so far, they're 6 and 0, but they're not ranked. And quite frankly, I'm very angry about that. I'm very irritated about that because you look at those rankings. Who's number 25? UCLA, who has 2 losses, but James Madison undefeated. And I know that classic argument. Well, they don't have the schedule that UCLA has, and they don't. But you should be valued. You should be appreciated for what you have done and for winning those games, especially with the circumstances that James Madison has faced with this being their second year in the FBS. They I think that they should be embraced a little bit more than they have been this year. Last year, at one point, they actually were ranked number 25 in the nation. So it's just phenomenal. And the general theme that I'm gonna delve into here is that James Madison is one of those teams that just continues to ascend and ascend and ascend. They're grinders. They start from the bottom and they work their way to the top. They are what I like to call a self-made football team. Started off in the FCS. It's where they were. They're not a very big school. They don't have the enrollments of the University of Alabama or Ohio State, but yet they make the best of their circumstances and they grind and they grind and they grind. And as a program, they strive to be better and to maximize their performance each and every single day. That's how they became a household name in the FCS. You know, they were a fixture. You'd see them if you watched FCS football, which I am one of those people. I will admit it. I don't mind sitting by the Christmas tree with a glass of eggnog, watching North Dakota State take on South Dakota State. Great rivalry, by the way. And I saw James Madison in all those games with North Dakota State and William and Mary and Youngstown State and Montana. And if you know, you know. And they stood out. They look to me as one of those teams that should be promoted to the FBS sooner or later, and they were. But fact of the matter is, they grind and they grind and they grind, and they made a name for themselves. And now here they are at the FBS level, and they're doing the same. Even though they're not eligible for bowls right now, even though they're not eligible for the Sun Belt Championship, they are still focused on winning. And I love that because that's how you move up. There's teams in college football who you start on the bottom, you work your way up to the top. And look at how Utah is now a Pac-12 school. They're becoming a Big 12 school. Now it was not long ago they weren't Power 5. TCU, another great story. They started off years ago. They were in the Mountain West, and now here they are in the Big 12. They were in the not that I was gonna say BCS. My mind was stuck in 2005 for a second. They were in the College Football Playoff National Championship last year. So it just goes to show what doing the right things as an organization, having the right vision, and being consistent and persistent regardless of circumstance can do for a team. I'm going to compare James Madison to 2 other schools that are in the Sun Belt right now who have a similar background, Appalachian State and Coastal Carolina. There are 2 other teams who made their mark in the FCS and who even took down ranked opponents in the FBS while they're in the FCS. I'm sure all of you remember Appalachian State dethroning Michigan from that number 1 spot way back in 2007. That's probably when the NCAA started looking at them. Okay, this team is capable of great things. They watch Appalachian State. They upset somebody in later years too. I forget exactly who that was, but they were known for challenging and or beating ranked FBS teams. So Appalachian State on the NCAA's radar for that. Coastal Carolina, same thing. They were a fixture, and they eventually got upgraded to the FBS level into the Sun Belt. App State, when they were elevated to the FBS in 2014, they had 2 seasons with 10-plus wins in their first 3 seasons. Phenomenal. There wasn't much of a transition. They hit the ground running. They were built for that moment because they did what they needed to do to be successful at the FCS level, and it carried over to the FBS. They're one of those teams that just have a positive trajectory and just continue to ascend. Coastal Carolina, same thing. The start was a bit slower, but they've already had 3 seasons with 9-plus wins since joining the FBS in 2017, and they've been ranked multiple times as has Appalachian State. So same theme, just working to ascend, that being elevated from the FCS to the FBS and making an immediate impact. And now I've got James Madison, who is like another version of Appalachian State and Coastal Carolina here doing the same thing, and I love to watch it continue to unfold. But I'm going to circle back to something that I was saying before. James Madison is not eligible for bowl games or for the Sun Belt Championship for these next 2 years. And the reason behind that is that they're going through a 2-year reclassification period that FBS transitioning teams must go through in order to be eligible for those championship games and for those bowl games. And that's unfortunate for the Dukes right now because they're not getting the exposure that they would if they were in a bowl game or they were in those championship games, because those games get people talking about you. They get your name, they get your logo, they get your reputation, your brands out there for more eyeballs to see. But nonetheless, this move into the FBS and into the Sun Belt has been moving the needle for the Dukes, which I love to see. Their attendance increased dramatically last year at Bridgeforth Stadium, and it continues to do so. There's more students going to games, so I love seeing that from James Madison University overall. Pretty soon, you will be seeing these Dukes in a bowl game, and maybe, just maybe, eventually, you'll see them in a New Year's Six game. That would be fantastic. I would love to see the Dukes get that level of national exposure. But let's take it day by day, game by game, win by win, and season by season. But James Madison continues to have a positive trajectory, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see what they'll do against the 4-2 Marshall Thundering Herd this Thursday night, as that will be another test for James Madison to see if they can remain undefeated. But I love what I've seen for the Dukes so far, and I can't wait to see what they do in these games and seasons to come. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video. And if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to The Era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.